So Christine and
Yes.
Sarah, when you signed up to come on My Mother, My Daughter talk show, Christine, what was the first thought in your mind when you decide this is something I need to do?
I've been doing a lot of thinking about my daughters lately as I am writing some of my memoirs and looking back on my life. And I've just been thinking about how my life and my issues have affected my daughters, and how my two daughters have ended up on kind of different paths with regard to their relationship to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we've done some talking recently about my past issues with mental illness and my current much better health. And I realized that my daughters still had issues that they weren't really weren't ever discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was a time to really think about those and talk about those.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you are a doctor yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about, and the reason I brought that out was because I want the audience to understand that you come from a medical background as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So that plays into the fact that you do have the knowledge as
Right.
well as the experience of what you're going through. And so what I want to do is basically take this kind of slow so that we can kind of walk through and I can get a better understanding. And the most exciting part about setting up this show,
Mm-hmm.
my person, Sharifa, she, it's my PR, she sets it up, but the uniqueness is not to really have conversations with the attendees until you actually get online with them. So I'm just having to follow you
Okay.
blindly, as I step through, and then let the Holy Spirit lead and guide me as I hear what you're telling me. Now, I looked at your briefing, and you did mention that back in your childhood, you felt that you were abused in some ways, and that affect your mental status.
Okay.
So let's
Mm-hmm.
go back to your mother.
Yes, it did.
Let's go back to your mother. What was your mother and daughter relationship like? How was that?
I'm not even sure there really was one. I'm not, I am fairly convinced my mother was and still is pretty mentally ill. She had 3 children very young. I was the oldest. She had strange ideas about raising children.
Like what?
She felt like, it was almost as though I felt like I was raised in a litter of children, and I was not an individual. I guess that's probably the mildest way I could put it, but there was just a lot of abuse, a lot of neglect, a lot of feeling as though any need I had as a child was sort of begrudgingly given to me, if at all. Mm-hmm. She had an alcohol problem, and so there was just so much of growing up that made it. I developed dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called multiple personality disorder. It's a disease that really only comes from early childhood trauma. And so from that, I know that, my mother abused me as a young child, and also participated in allowing me to be abused by others. And so I never grew up with a sense that this whole idea of mother was anything that was a good thing. Never.
Okay.
I didn't even, I didn't know. The whole idea of a mother-daughter relationship, I wouldn't even have a concept of. So when I myself became a mother, The only thing I knew was, okay, whatever I'm going to do, it's going to be the opposite of however I was raised. And that's probably going to be as good as I can get. So I really put forth, in knowing nothing about what it looked. I had a really nice grandmother, a wonderful grandmother who taught me love, who taught me that I was maybe somebody that had value when I did not get that from my own mother. So I, I, I used that as kind of my guide to see my own daughters as having value, and to decide that I was going to take them however they were, in whatever shape they were in when they were born and growing up, and give them the love that I did not get. So so that's how I approached it. I thought, okay, this is, I don't really know what it's like to be a mother. I don't know what it's like to have a mother-daughter relationship, but I'm going to figure it out somehow. And the way I started was, whatever my mother did, I'm not going to do. And if it seemed like something my mother wouldn't do, I'm going to try that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how I started it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I approached it.
And, and that's a reasonable way of doing it. Because if something's not working, you don't want to keep doing that. You want to change it. As a mother, let me just give you a little piece of information that might help you out. There's no perfect mother and daughter relationship, and we all struggle with being a better mother. We see what we don't want in our mothers. That's why so many women say, I do not want to be like my mother. Your daughters might say the same thing. I said it. Because, I used to get a lot of spankings because, I had a little mouth on me and I was always into something. And I said, I do not want to be like her. I would never spank my child, and, this, that, and the other. We all look at our mothers and we can see the faults in them and say, well, I want to do better than that, And so we try to switch the roles, say, I'm not going to do it that way. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to elevate. Your daughters are supposed to do it better than you did it. You're supposed to do it better than your mother did it. But the handicap is that when we don't have that nurturing spirit handed down to us from our mothers, we cannot give what we don't have. We can't give it to our daughters. So
it's hard to generate inside yourself when you don't really have that foundation to build on.
Right. You don't know. And so how can you give something that you don't have, or share knowledge that you don't know? It comes back to God, really. You really got to come back to the Creator and say, you created me, and so I don't know. I need some help to get through this. That's how I did when I was pregnant with my daughter. I was like, I'm an only child. So I'm like, Lord, I don't even know. I didn't have any siblings, the baby of the grands. So there was no one behind me for me to grow up, to see how baby was raised. And of course, being the only child, my mother she doted over me and my dad because I was all they had. But I learned quickly that I needed to ask for help, and God helped me. But even with that, I still made some choices, not listening properly, whatever the case is. Mothering is not an easy job. So that's why we have to come up with a solution and come up with a plan. Each mother and daughter have to create their own plan of action and decide what you can forgive. Try to forgive it all, because you can't change it. And then decide, how do we go from here? So today, I'm feeling in my heart, this is a good day, because God has led you here. And so now we're going to discuss some of the things, and we're going to be honest. We're going to have an honest conversation, because if we're not having an honest conversation, none of this means anything. Your daughter, Sarah, is sitting there. She's sitting there because she wants answers. She wants to feel comfortable with where you are, no matter what you tell her. She's looking at you, and she's feeling in her heart and soul, is it really what she's saying, or is it this, and so she's making assessments as she's looking and hearing you. Am I right, Sarah?
Yeah.
And so with that, boy, I tell you, I love it when the Holy Spirit speaks. With that, that's what we want to deal with today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many daughters do you have?
2.
You have 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other one is not with us today. I wish she was on the line, but hopefully she can come back and listen to the show, and it'll be helpful to her as well.
Okay.
Now, what we want to do, we want to get down to the nitty gritty of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were abused by your mother.
Right.
That abuse caused you to have multiple personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple personalities, and I could get into the clinical piece of it. That's not necessary for me.
Mm-hmm.
The piece that I want to get into is the spiritual design piece, that design that God created within you. That's where I come from. So let's go back and look at you as a little child, and you're saying I'm being abused. Let's just say your mother is hollering at you, and you feel you got a spanking, you feel angry, and you go somewhere and you start talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beginning of this multiple personalities, because see what you're doing, you're working out of something called the intro conversation. The intro conversations are those ongoing conversations in your head. And so you now have created a friend, and that friend is your confidant. You're going to tell this friend, let's just say Nancy, and you're going to talk to Nancy and tell Nancy what you want to tell your mother. And when Nancy has worn out, it's like a drug. Nancy is no longer fulfilling that need. So now you create another person. This may seem elementary, and then a chemist may say, no, it's an chemical balance. All of those things you can say. But in reality, the one thing that every human being has is the intra conversations, those ongoing conversations in your head. And it's how you manage those conversations is what you experience in your life. So if you don't know how to manage those intra conversations, you will talk yourself into depression. You will talk yourself into suicidal thoughts. You will talk yourself into multiple personalities, because you are trying to find someone, something that will listen. Now you have God, and then you have the enemy. The enemy loves to play with you in your intro conversation. That is his ground. That's where he worked on you, because he don't want you to know that you okay, and that you are made perfectly whole, and that you are sane, and you have a sound mind, and nothing can come against you in this world if you believe what God told you. But his job is to confuse you. His job is to make you think, hey, yeah, you're right. You went to the doctor. They said you have multiple personalities, because see, now Nancy's talking, then you're talking to Susie, and then you're talking to Joan, and then you're talking to this one, talking to that. And then all of a sudden, you yourself begin to think, well, maybe I do have it. And then once you decide you have it, then you have it. Now you got to deal with it. So what I want you to do today, we're going to drop all those claims. We're going to clean out that subconscious mind, and we're going to forgive those thoughts and those conversations. Because you've got to get rid of them in order to move on. And so what I'm assuming, what Sarah is seeing, some of those behaviors. Now it's okay to talk to yourself, Sarah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I talk to myself. It's okay to talk to yourself. It's just, how are you responding to those conversations? Go ahead, Christine.
Right. I think for much of my daughter's growing up years, but I'll use your terminology, internal conversations, the different parts that are a part of this, who I am, did not like each other. I mean, so much other hatred going on that manifests itself in things like self-harm and suicidality, and, having to be hospitalized, and all sorts of things. Just made it kind of chaotic. Of course, I was successful as a doctor, but not really as a person. So it's taken a long time until I got to the point where it was, okay, however many parts are in here, we're all on the same side, and we all love each other. And all that self-harm and suicidality and everything melted away. But for my daughters, not so much. it wasn't that long ago that Sarah here said, I'm just waiting for it to happen, for you to have, a suicide attempt or for this, something to fall apart again. And,
Okay.
and it's like, okay, well, it's not, I don't think that's going to happen. Things are better.
Okay, Sarah,
Yeah.
I want you to jump in.
Well,
Why do you feel that you're just waiting for the suicidal attempt to happen?
just because that's just what it's been like from the past. As a child, it was just probably every few years something would happen.
Something like what? Tell me what the something is.
Like a self-harm incident or a suicide attempt. One of those things.
Okay.
She was in foster care for a while because I had a therapist who didn't think I could take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
A long time to get her out of foster care.
9 months.
9 months. She was in foster care for 9 months, which was super traumatic for her.
Yes.
I think she was kind of like, okay, I don't, she was adrift for a while there. And it took a while to come back and trust that, she was going to be able to stay and no one was going to take her away again. And she was, what, 8 or 9?
9.
9.
So let's have the honest conversation. Have you had the honest conversation with Sarah as the details, what happened to you as a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what, at the youngest age that you can remember, that you thought that you were being abused, and what happened?
My first flashbacks the earliest flashbacks that I have now are of probably being a baby and probably being suffocated by my mother.
Okay. You can remember that as a baby?
I have flashbacks of very clear images of someone that I can see in a dim room, who I can only assume is her because I don't know who else it could be, putting their hand over my mouth and nose and trying to breathe and not being able to breathe.
Okay.
Crying. And then going semi-unconscious for a while. And then after that, there's a lot of sense of my mother being a very kind and loving, but very fake mother in front of other people. But then when there's not other people there, when she's alone with her children, horrible, mean, slapping, angry, demeaning, just, kind of demoralizing her children. So there was kind of this switching mother that would be not very predictable.
Okay.
And then probably before kindergarten or that age, I was sexually abused, and I'm semi-certain that she knew of it. And then later on, when I was 9, I was sexually abused, and she did know of it and was so angry with me that I said anything.
Okay. Why did you say she knew? What happened?
I told her about it.
Because I told her.
Okay. Okay. You told her and she didn't believe you. Is that what you're saying?
The time that I was about 8 or 9 and it happened, it wasn't a matter of disbelief. It was more a matter of, don't say anything. I don't want to hear about that.
Was it someone that she knew?
It was it was a babysitter that she had babysit. And I guess, I suppose it's one thing to say, okay, well, don't talk about that. But then she asked that babysitter to come back and babysit again. Okay. So that made me think, okay, I don't think she really cares so much that this happened. I believe she believed me, but I don't think it really resonated with her that it even mattered to her that this could happen again.
So what kind of intro conversations did you have when that happened? what were you saying to yourself about your mother?
I think more it had to do with internal conversations about myself.
Okay.
Or like, okay, this is something I must deserve. This is something I must be. I must have so little value that this is just what isn't part of happens to someone who has no value.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up feeling I didn't have any value.
But you came up with some strength somewhere, because in order to go to medical school, you know what I'm saying? In order to, okay, finish high school, come through medical school, you had a balance there, and you had a strength that you knew you had it, but I'm not sure that you appreciated it. You see what I'm saying?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I it was kind of the sense of a survival mechanism because I was bright and
to get away.
And I wanted to get away. I really worked hard in school, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get away, and this is how I'm going to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated when I was 16. I left. I left for college, and I just kept, pushing my way forward in spite of the fact that I was still pretty sick.
Yeah.
Because it was a way out.
Survival. Yeah. But did you manage? You seem to manage at college well. What was your doctorate in?
Well, I had my bachelor's degree in biochemistry. Mm-hmm. I got my medical doctorate when I was 25.
Mm-hmm. That's strong.
Yeah, and I
considering what you came through. That's strong.
School. Yeah, my first daughter was born 10 days before I started medical school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was single.
And then you got married and started having children.
No. Sarah was born because of a rape.
Okay.
So I had to decide at that point in time, what did that mean to me to be giving birth to a child of in that way? And I had a dream, and in the dream I was taking care of these animals that were part kitten and part rat. And I had to decide in the dream, there was a boy kitten and a girl kitten. I was probably 8 weeks pregnant. And in the dream, I had to decide, would I keep these kittens even though they were part rat? And would I keep the boy kitten or just the girl kitten, or would I keep both boy and girl kitten? And in the dream, I decided I would keep both boy and girl kitten, that they were more kitten than rat. And so from that point on, I was like, this is my child. And I'm going to raise her, and I'm going to be happy, and I am happy.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did. She's, and also it came at a time when I was really separating myself from my own family of origin. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted a child that was not a part of that family, but was a part of me, part of a new life that I was creating for myself. And so, that's where she came with that sense. I mean, I thought it was a good thing, but then at one point Sarah says, she says, but I only had you. So she didn't really, well, I felt like, okay, I'm protecting her from my family of origin. But
she was the only one I could turn to.
Right. But I sort of.
What did you say? I didn't hear you, Sarah.
She was the only one that I could turn to for adults.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Sarah, now let's go to you. You were born and you were told that you were conceived through a rape.
Yeah.
At an early age, when did you find this out?
I think maybe when I was 10, I don't know, 10, between 10 and 12.
Who told you?
My mom. She was pretty honest with me.
Okay. And how did you feel?
I don't think I really felt anything because I didn't have a father or a father figure, so it didn't really bother me, I guess.
Well, Dr. Christine, I commend you. because most people try to hide that. That's a hidden secret.
Mm-hmm.
You had enough going on that you didn't
Right.
want to add to that. And that's high on the list of being honest.
Well, it was not even honesty, because it was honesty plus I wasn't hiding ever the fact that she was wanted and loved
Mhm.
in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I had made that decision that I loved her no matter where she came from or who she was.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the part about how she was conceived just didn't really seemed kind of semi-minor in the span of things, because it didn't deflate the fact of who she was to me as a child.
And you would have missed the beautiful relationship. She's absolutely gorgeous, and you don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
I can feel there's a good spirit between the two of you. I think it's just a matter of having an honest conversation. I know you are sharing events in the life and your history together, but there is that honest conversation of something that's lying dominant within your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the blockage as far as being able to connect the way that you want to connect.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that those intra conversations that are in your head, that they dictate your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
your attitude, your mood. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're thinking, they don't know what I'm thinking.
Right.
But they do. They know your behavior is different. And so I'm imagining that Sarah is looking at your behavior.
So sometimes she says, you are kind of moody. And I'm like, it's not exactly moody, but yeah, I understand I understand what you see, but it's not how I perceive it. But yeah.
It's okay to be moody. That's fine. We all moody. We got these moods, and sometimes we're happy, sometimes, we got life going on now. And there's so much going on right now that people don't realize that it's in the atmosphere. It's mm-hmm. all around you. The energy flow is all kilter, as they can say. Mm-hmm. But what I want you to tell me, Sarah, what type of relationship do you want to have with your mother? If you could give me the ideal relationship, what would it look like?
I think we have a good relationship right now. I think she has more issues with my sister and her, but we communicate every day. I guess we don't say I love you a lot, so I guess maybe saying that more would be a good thing.
I forget that. Of course, that was when my mother said I love you, that was never real, and it was usually for show, because someone else was there. So for me to say I love you almost is sort of a trigger word for me. It's kind of like, okay, if I say I love you, I want it to be genuine, and I want it. I would rather like show my love than say those words. But I've come to realize that she appreciates those words too. And I didn't know that until very recently.
Okay. So now that means that's one of the things that we're going to work on. Mm-hmm. Because when I have a mother and daughter come into my office for a session, we're not just going to talk about the problem. We're going to work out some type of action. Mm-hmm. Because we can sit here and talk today, and I know I want to follow up with you for sessions to see how you're doing. Mm-hmm. and to make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Is that you're going to come up with a game plan. You're going mm-hmm. to find out exactly what each other like and don't like. Mm-hmm. And so with this, you're not really opening up to me right now. You mm-hmm. all are being very casual, and I'm just following along with you, but this is not the game I play. I'm just trying to get all of my ducks in a row, because I'm getting ready to tell you, we're going to either have this honest conversation or we just wasting time.
Okay.
Because you wrote me and you told me mm-hmm. that she didn't trust you And the things that you're saying, now we're being just laid back and we okay. And it's
Right.
not that kind of a show. If we're going to do
Right.
this, let's do it. Because if
I
we
know
don't
that
tell
she,
the truth,
I know that,
and we
I
don't
know
get
that she
to
doesn't
it,
trust me. I know that she doesn't trust me. I mean, my other
why do you think she doesn't trust you?
trust me,
Let's
but
get into the trust, because it's got to be love, trust, and honesty in order for you to change this relationship.
Right.
Otherwise, you guys are going to keep doing this for years, and 20 years going to go by. You'll be on your deathbed, and you'll start saying, "Oh Lord, I wish," vice versa. "I wish I had done it differently." And no, it's too late. Today is your day. You asked for this day. You called me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get at it.
Okay.
What's the problem?
Huh.
Because there's nothing wrong with you, Dr. Christine. I'm looking at you and I'm hearing you. Let it go. You are one person.
Mm-hmm.
Live that person. Be that person that went to school. Be that person that graduated, got a medical degree, had a medical practice, working on other human beings. Be that person. Forget the other person. You have a right to choose. Even God tell you, in one hand, I give you life, in one hand, I give you death. And then he give you the big hint. Now you choose.
Mm-hmm.
So today I want you to choose who you going to be. I'm going to be Dr. Christine. Why not be Dr. Christine?
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to be these other people. Don't allow yourself to get into that conversation, because you're not going to win that conversation with Satan. He wants you to be in that conversation. Take domain over your human body. Take domain over something God gave you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can do it. You demonstrated it. You're bright.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
educated.
Yeah. I'm bright and I'm educated and I think I'm mature, but I think I haven't always been.
And that's okay. But
And
today
so-
is the new day.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of owning my own maturity and I'm trying to be like honest in everything I do, and I'm trying to have a commitment to health every day and trying to sort of, I don't know, make up for lost time or something. I'm not sure.
Let's start with this. Make a commitment to stop saying trying. Trying is just putting something off to the future.
Okay.
Trying is not a definite answer.
Okay.
Nothing happens until you make a decision.
Okay.
Every time you make a decision, actions follow behind that. So you got to make a decision. I must make a decision that I'm going to release the word trying out of my subconscious mind. Trying is nothing but a crutch. You'll be doing that for the rest of your life. You didn't say that when you went to medical school. You didn't say, I'm going to try to be a doctor. You said, I'm going to be a doctor. You said, I'm going to get my education and I'm out of this house. You said, I'm going to start a whole new life for myself. You said those things because you made the decision and they happened. So use that same energy, that same force, and decide, I'm going to be Dr. Christine. I'm going to be the person that I know. I'm a chemist. I know how the brain works. I know how things work. Use the knowledge. God said, my people perish because the lack of knowledge. You got knowledge and you're not using it. So come on. Your daughter is looking at you because she needs to see you change in order for her to change. So if you want to do something for your daughter, make a decision today. I'm going to love my daughter. I'm going to tell her I love her. She's telling you that would make me feel good. Don't talk about all the things that you don't want. I tell my clients, don't talk about what you don't want. Talk about what you want. Just only talk about what you want, because what you don't want keeps you going backwards, keep you in a stalemate. But if you talk about what you want, call those things as though they are when you know they're not. But if you call them they will come. You call a medical degree and it showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying to you is go back into your subconscious mind. And I want you, this is what I want you all to do. I want you to start writing down the things that you say that you don't appreciate. I'm going to try. I never got love. Okay, no, it's okay. But look at God. He still has his hand on you. Look at God. You're still alive. You're still moving. You're in a good position. Your children are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're blessed. Don't worry about the past. It's okay. Put that in God's hand and you decide, say, you know what, baby? Today, this is our new day. We're going to be born again today. What is it? So this is what you're going to do. I want you to sit down after the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I want both of you to get a piece of paper and a pen. And I want you to write down 10 things that you like about each other and write down 10 things that you would like to see change. I don't want to say dislike, but that you would like to see change.
Okay.
And then when you do this, then you start off with the one thing. Say, Sarah, you start off with, when you do this, I don't like it because it makes me feel a certain way. And then Dr. Christine, what you're going to do is that you're going to write down what she said.
Okay.
Oh, and then she's going to tell you, she's going to use you got 3-minute timer. And she's going to take that 3-minute timer and she's going to use that 3 minutes to explain to you why she feel a certain way when you do a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to write down your answers as she's talking. When she finishes, then she'll say, I'm finished. Then you're going to say, okay, let me make sure I understand you. Your statement was this, this, and this. And she's going to confirm it by saying, yes. Is that what you're saying to me? She says, yes. Once she says yes, now you own the same way of communication. There's no doubt that you not reaching where she want you to be or to be where she wants you to be in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to explain to her why you do that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to, when you get ready to explain, you're going to turn on the 3-minute timer for yourself. 3 minutes, I don't care where you are, you stop. You don't have, you can't go over, you can't say a word over, you stop. What are we doing? We're training you to be able to communicate, but doing it so that one can listen, the other one can talk. And if you keep doing this over the period of the next 2 weeks and doing it daily, what happens is that you're going to weed out some of that stuff in your subconscious mind. You're going to pull all this garbage up and throw it up and graduate and say, oh, wow, I didn't know you felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say the negative, then I want you to come back and then say, but on the other hand, Mama, when you do this, it makes me happy. I like it when you do this. Because what we're doing, we're taking a negative out and we're putting a positive in. So we're going to reprogram our subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have your subconscious mind, you have your conscious mind, and then you have your unconscious mind. Now,
Right.
the subconscious mind stores everything. She remembers everything. Just like you said, I can remember somebody trying to smother me as a baby. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that because we are so well made. Nothing happens, even from coming from God to earth. All of those, the journey is still in the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell mothers when that 9 months, you have to be careful when you're carrying a baby that 9 months because they are just laying back in the cut, just like a sponge, absorbing everything you say, smell, taste, and does. Her temperament is being made.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you have that piece, then I want you all to say to each other every day, I love you. Why? You said, I can say it, but it got to mean something. I love you because God gave you to me. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
God didn't have to choose you to be her mother. He handpicked you to be her mother and handpicked her to be your daughter. So unless you think God made a mistake, then you love her out of that. Can you do that?
Yeah, I don't think there was any mistake involved.
Okay. So now we got that. So now each day you're going to tell each other I love you, mama. And why are you saying I love you? I love you because now we're working on this relationship. I love you because now we have an opportunity to have these conversations. I love you because now I'm feeling safe and I feel like I can trust you because now we're talking. There's nothing wrong with your relationship except the lack of communication. And that's every mother and daughter relationship and just human, period. If you can't have an honest conversation, then you have an imitated relationship. It's not real. And people walking around and they're not having real relationships because they don't want to tell the truth. They want to say a little bit, hide a little bit, and they think, oh, we have a really good relationship. No, you have a pretend creation, an imitation of a relationship. And that's why you can't really stay in the same place. That, hello, how you doing? Fine. How was your day? Fine. Surface conversations is what I call it. Instead of saying, mama, how you doing today? You all right mentally? Is there something I can do for you? You want to go for a walk? Start nurturing her and she'll nurture you. This is how you're going to get to that relationship that's going to change your life. And then when you start having grandchildren, because see, you want to get it right with your daughter. If you don't get it right with your daughter, your grandchildren are going to suffer.
I have two grandchildren already.
And they will suffer with her because she won't know how to treat her children. It's if nothing more than to be I'm a grandmother, and there's nothing like a good grandmother. And a grandmother got to be there for the children, but you can't skip Sarah to go to the grandchildren. A lot of people do that. They skip the children and then go to the grandchildren, treat them real nice. And the daughter's like, well, you didn't treat me like that. So you got this jealousy building up. She's watching you now, and I'm dealing with a case like that now, where the grandmother just loved the granddaughters, but the daughter's like, hey, you never treated me like that. And you still don't treat me like that now. They're still your children. And Sarah's still your baby. And she's still looking to you for guidance. And that fear that she has, to her, is real. Is she going to be with me? Will she flip out today or tomorrow? You've got to own who you really are. And that's a sound mind. And you're a doctor. You're a scientist. Most people can't do that. I can't tell you anything about science. That's not my field. You see what I'm saying? So is this making any sense to you guys?
Yeah, and I think my wish has always been to be a good mother to my child, but I always thought I would know what that looked like, or I would figure it out, and it never really occurred to me to ask her what she wanted. It never occurred to me to check it out, to say, is this what you need or want, or am I doing this right? And so there have been times where she's just blown up and is like, you never say you love me. I'm like, oh okay. Just it was something that, of course, had I known, I would be, oh yeah, okay. And I have said it more since then.
Okay.
Today, but I have said it more since then, because I finally knew that was something
that she wanted
and needed that I didn't know before.
Okay. Well, you just led me right up to the point. Let's go with this, Dr. Christine. Turn around, Sarah, turn around and look at your mother. Dr. Christine, look at Sarah. Sarah, I need y'all to get in a position so you can look at each other, not cockeyed to the side.
Okay.
Okay, now ask her, what does she want? It's a simple question.
Oh, that's really hard. Okay, what do you want?
No, get serious with this thing now, because we got some work to do. We only got an hour, and then we got to follow up afterward, but go ahead.
I just want you to say I love you once in a while, because you never say it.
Okay.
And my friends say it, but you don't say it. So once in a great while, just say I love you.
I can say it more often than once in a great while because it's there every day. It's just, I just don't always think of saying it.
That's fine. You don't need to say it every day. Just once in a while.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. And why do you feel you need to have it once in a while, Sarah?
Well, I don't feel like I need to hear it every day. That's a little excessive, but just every so often, just so I know that she loves me and so I can hear it. Just because my
Well,
friends will say it to me on the phone, my best friend will be like, I love you, bye. Just that kind of thing, just like once in a while is nice to hear.
well, you wouldn't want to be my daughter because I mean I'm obsessive. Like, okay, I love you. All right, hello, bye. Okay, I love you. And I love you. And I'm like, she that has no doubt that I love her. It's just now it's a part of habit. You know what I mean? It's just that I don't want to ever miss the opportunity. And I got that from my mother. I got married at 18. I left home, and I told you I'm an only child. And my mother and I were very close. And so my mother would call me every morning around 7:30 before I went to work. And, you know, people would say to her, why do you have to call her every day? Now it's before you had cell phones. I mean, Bell South, we should have had some stock in Bell South. We've been okay today. And my mother said to me, she said, I cannot imagine getting up in the morning and going on my way and not knowing if you're breathing. And I was like, wow. So she called me every morning. Good morning, how are you? We do that little 2 or 3 minutes. She just wanted to know I was alive. I could have dropped dead 2 minutes afterward, but that's okay. She wanted to know that I was okay before I went to work. And we did that all of my life. I do the same thing with my daughter. Even today, between 8:30 and 9, we are talking. We talk for about an hour every morning, all during the day. And it's always, I love you. It just, you don't want to miss a moment. And even when we have our disagreements right now, we don't really have disagreements because I've learned and I create a design for our relationship. And that is when I feel that something is coming up in my spirit, I feel like I want to be that mother, or I feel like I want her to do what I want her to do. She's a grown woman. She has children, but we still have that instinct of a mother wanting to tell them how to do it. I have to tell her sometime, you know what? I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to taper this conversation and we'll get back to it later. 9 times out of 10, we never get back to it because I don't want to go back on something. So you got to have to create a relationship that works for both of you. Both of you have been abused. Both of you are suffering in your own way of how to deal with it. Is this normal for me? How do I change who I am? No better person to start with than your mother and your daughter, because you are the most safest to each other, the most honest with each other, the most purest, and you're connected from the umbilical cord. It's never going to go away. So if you're going to find that place of trust and love and confidence and honesty, it's going to have to start with you and your daughter, Dr. Christine. Because she's telling you, my friend is saying I love you. She hear that, and that's good. Nothing can ever measure up to a mother telling a child, I love you. Because what you do, you give them hope. You give them faith. You let them know all things are possible. You let her know that I'm here for you. She has children to raise. She needs your strength to help her to be a better mother and a good mother to her children. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And she is a good mother. She's a great mother. That's, if I had to say that's her like number one attribute, is that she's a very pure and honest and loving mother to her kids, kind of no matter who they are. And I just think that's amazing. She's got that skill.
Well, and she knows that she's okay. She just wants you to be okay. I'm getting a feeling that Sarah's saying, you know, I know my situation. I dealt with it. I'm good. She wants you to be good. She wants you to just let the past go. Am I right, Sarah? Let the past go and let's start a new life. Let's just, we've all have, I could go back in my past. There are things in my past that I didn't even, you know, we all got these things that we don't want the world to know. We just want to say, okay, been there, done that, let's move on. Because if I concentrate on some things, then I would not be able to function. We have people that don't like us. We have people that like us. We have people that don't want you to make it. You got people that want you to make it. Some people can't figure out, well, why is she doing what she's doing? She's not that good at it. You know, everybody has an opinion. But I'm going to tell you what God told me. Because I used to worry about, you know, well, you know, so-and-so, they're going to say this and they're going to say that. And I really didn't want to do television. But God kept telling me, you've been working with mothers and daughters for 20 years. And I've worked with mothers and daughters nationally and internationally. But no one would ever know that because I never put it on media. It's not about me being known. Look at me, look what I'm doing. I just went and did the work. In September, God said to me, you've been working with mothers and daughters for 20 years. And I've been dedicated. I would drive people insane because that's all I know. That's all I do. And I talk about mothers and daughters. I had to kind of harness myself in because it can be overload for some people because it's an anointing for me. So that's all that I have working on the inside. But I tell you, I know for a fact that today, I'm feeling it in my spirit. Today is your change day. It's a shift in your spirit. I can feel it. Can you feel it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I consider my relationships with both my daughters to be like the most enduring and solid relationship I will ever have. So of course, I want it to, you know, continue to be that way and to be healthy. And not to look back and say, oh man, I really messed that up.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that anymore.
The one thing that I want you guys to understand is that sometimes I have clients coming in, the daughter may be in her late 50s or early 60s and the mother is in her 80s. And she's saying to me, why should I have to take care of her, Dr. Bessie? I really don't even like her. She never was there for me. When she was young, she had her friends, she traveled, she did what she wanted to do. I was always a second choice, a no choice at all. You don't want to wake up at 80-some years old and know that your children having to take care of you out of a sense of embarrassment. I don't want my friends to think I'm not taking care of my mother. You want them to take care of you, hopefully not have to take care of you, but if they did, that it would be a loving experience for them because they will say, you know what, she was so good to me. I want to be able to be good to her now. So you want to start where you are and build from this point because you all have a long life hopefully ahead of you and you're going to enjoy that, and and your grandkids are going to remember you as, what do they call you?
Grammy.
Yeah, they're going to remember Grammy, and Grammy was happy and Grammy was this. You know, you want to live. That's how you live. You live through them, and your daughter can tell them the stories. Yeah, we may have had a rough start in the beginning, but we got it together and man, things got good. So from this point on, from today on, I'm going to monitor you. You have my phone number. I'm not charging you. I'm not getting on here and people say, oh, she just getting clients. No, I'm not charging you a penny. My job is to help nurture you through the beginning of, from this conversation on. So I will be here and I will call you and we're going to talk about it. I want to make sure you follow through with the routine that you're going through. And once you start doing that, then you're going to start softening, you're going to start forgiving each other. So what I want you to do right now I want you to look at Sarah, Dr. Christine,
Mm-hmm.
and just tell her, just apologize to her from your heart. Just look at her and apologize.
Okay, I'll try.
Just do it. See, you're doing the try thing. Don't try. Just do it. Look at it, Sarah. Look at your mother. I need y'all to look at each other. Really, come on.
I will.
It's okay to cry.
I am sorry. I am sorry.
Look at Sarah. Look at Sarah. Don't look at me.
I think because you deserved more than I could give. But here I am now.
That's not a good apology. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Come on.
That's the only apology I can give without bursting into tears.
No. Then you need to do that. You need to do that because you need a breakthrough. Come on, don't play with it. If you really mean it and you want to change, you told me you want to change. So let's change. Look at your daughter and go into your mother mode and apologize. Doesn't matter what you're apologizing for. You're the mother. Once you apologize, it's going to make a shift in your relationship if you do it from your heart. Right now, she's having problems believing you. That's why she's not trusting you. And then you can come off with that, I'm apologizing. No, let's do it.
I have so many things to apologize for. So many.
Who are you looking at? Who are you talking to? Talk to Sarah.
You know, because I have two daughters, and of course, both of them mean a lot to me. And with Sarah,
no, you don't. You're not going to escape. Go back. You have two daughters. We recognize that, but the other one is not here. Let's deal with Sarah.
Okay.
See, you're trying to escape.
I know.
Face the reality. Look at her. Look at her and think of the time when the doctor put her in your arms and you looked into her eyes. What did you feel at that moment? That's where a mother had to go back to. She has to go back to that moment when she first looked into her eyes. That's going to connect you.
That was a very special moment.
Sarah, look at your mother, please.
You were my baby, really mine. You didn't belong to anyone else but me. And that was super important to me. And every intention I wanted for you, I worked to give you when I could, but I wasn't always able to do that. So I feel really horrible. I don't know, I feel, I see where I've succeeded and I see where I failed, and I just feel bad about the failures.
And Sarah, what do you say to your mother?
I think you did the best that you could do with what you had in the situation and with all your past trauma and everything. I think she did the best that she could. So I forgive her about all the things in the past.
Very good. See? If you said that and you mean that, then you just begun a new day, a new relationship. See, forgiveness is the key. When you can't forgive, then you put yourself into a prison, a mental prison. And that mental prison It's hard to get out when you put yourself in there because then you forget what you've done with the key. So hold each other's hands and look each other in the eyes and look deep into each other's eyes until I tell you to stop.
Mommy, walk. What do you mean, Mommy, walk?
Let Mommy finish.
Mommy, walk.
Let Mommy finish. Let Mommy finish. She should be done in a few minutes. Okay. How did that feel?
I felt like I was looking into my own eyes. I felt her eyes were my eyes. I could feel that our shared biology is what binds us forever.
How did you feel, Sarah?
Just close to her and connected.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it again. And I want you to go deeper. I want you to really look each other's eyes. Just don't worry about your son. Just do it. Just pay attention. Don't be distracted.
Okay.
Okay. Do you get what I'm trying to show you?
Mm-hmm.
See, your whole demeanor has changed. Can you feel it?
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's out.
What do you feel, Sarah?
I don't know, just really connected to her on a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Christine?
Let's see. Let's see.
I just feel really blessed that she's my daughter and that, she's here with me right now and in this time of her life and in this time of my life, and that we have connection that's valuable and enduring.
When I do this exercise with mothers and daughters, some people may say, well, it seems like a simple thing to do. The reason I want you to do this and the reason I want you to continue to do it is because over the years, you feel like your bond was broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten weaker. It's never broken. It has gotten weak because when she was little, you used to look in her eyes to make sure she understood what you were saying. If you had to get on your knees, that kept the bond. For the first time the doctor put her in your arms, and then as she's coming up, you're looking in her eyes. When you're feeding her, you're looking in her eyes. When we take our eyes off of our daughters, we lose that bond. It weakens that bond. And so what I'm trying to tell you, this is what you need to do to get back to that place when you first look into her eyes. So I want you all, the other exercise is to practice this for 30 seconds each day. I'm telling you, you will be so close, you'll almost finish each other's sentences.
Okay.
And she won't have that fear, will my mother be here tomorrow? Will my mother try to commit suicide again? She won't have those fears because, see, she's looking inside of your soul. She's looking inside of you, and she will be able to feel you and know that you're okay, and then she'll feel, I can be okay. This is the only way you can assure a person who you really are. It is through the eye gate. You got to go inside the soul in order to understand who the person is. So This is what I want you to do, Sarah, so that you can get to the point that you're comfortable to know your mother's not going to commit suicide, and to know she's going to claim and own Dr. Christine, the scientist, the person that she knows that she is, and let your other friends rest. Just let them die.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them no place. Because if you entertain those conversations, those intro conversations from those imaginary people, then that's all they are. God didn't make you, but with one mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing anything and demonstrating anything that's more than one mind, then it's not of God. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And that helps you understand, no, God didn't make me like that. God made me with one mind. And that's who I am.
Okay.
So you got your tools. You realize that you've apologized.
Mm-hmm.
She's accepted it. That's good. You've forgiven each other. You've gone back to now knowing how to deal with any situation that comes up. If a situation comes up, say, you know what, let's sit down at the table and let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you sit down, you got to be honest. You can't come up with something and think that's going to work, because you know in yourself, you can't lie to yourself. And if you know in yourself that you're lying, you know she knows that you're lying, because God moved us with a technique in us, in our spirit. We know when people are lying to us. We may not say anything, but you know when somebody's lying to you. It's something in your spirit that will shift. So you might as well sit and tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that, then sit down and look at each other. Just look at it and say, Lord, you gave me this beautiful young girl. Lord, you gave me this mother.
Mm-hmm.
And in spite of all that she went through, she's still a good mother. She still loves me. And we're going to go forward from here on.
Okay.
And just spend some quality time together. I suggest an hour a week. I'm telling you, your life will change.
Okay.
Very simple techniques,
Okay.
but it means nothing if you don't do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to get the feel of it so you'll know how to do it once you leave this show.
Okay.
But if you don't do it, you could end up worse, because now you got to deal with all that we talked about today, and the fact that you lied and said, I'm going to do it and don't do it. So you're just building on. You see what I'm saying? So you, and then I'm going to call you, because I'm not going to let you just go, because I know what it's like to have a client or someone that I know have multiple personalities, and they think that that's the only life they can live. No.
Mm-hmm.
God, just think of the life that God gave you. He gave you one mind.
Mm-hmm.
Live in that if you believe in God. Why would he make you a monster with 2 or 3 minds, 2 or 3 personalities? I'm a Christian clinical psychologist, and and you know, there's just certain things I don't believe, because I know the word of God overrides anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only way you'll make it through that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. So what's your final words?
I'm glad we did this. I feel I am at a place to be as honest and open and loving to my children as I possibly can be. And I want to be that way every day.
And you know, you can check in with me and we can talk about it. Will you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we want to build a relationship beyond this conversation.
Okay.
All right. Sarah,
So, yeah.
how do you feel?
Good.
Did it help you at all?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
What did you get? What did you get? Tell me.
I think it was good that we had a honest conversation, because we don't usually.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was good.
Okay. And what about the effects of looking into your mother's eyes?
I don't know.
It's a strange feeling, isn't it?
I didn't know her eyes were that green.
You didn't know her eyes was that green?
Yeah,
See?
they're green.
You learned something. Yes. Now you know. Somebody said, well, what color's your eyes? I don't know. Now you can say green.
Grace's eyes is black.
Cadence.
Somebody wants to be involved.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. I think we have had a good conversation today. That's all this is all about, is having a conversation, looking at the situation and seeing what we can come up with, some solutions. Can y'all give each other a hug? There you go. All right. Well, if there's nothing else to be said, I think we have done what we were supposed to do.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I thank you for reaching out to me. Makes me feel good.
Mommy?
And what is the grandson's name?
Caden.
Caden, how are you?
Hi.
How are you doing?
He's almost 5.
All right. That age, time to go to school.
Ah.
There.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Christine, I'm going to talk to you guys later. It was
you.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
I enjoy what I do, and I certainly enjoy talking to you and Sarah. And I know this is the beginning of something new as far as your communication and your relationship. So make it happen. I want you all to talk and love on each other after this, and then give me a call later on today, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
God bless you.
Yep. Bye.